Good afternoon. My name is Tessa Johnston and I'm the Crisis Communication Expert representing MQ Agency. And I'm here to offer strategies and recommendations following the Optus outage that occurred on the 9th of November 2023. Stephen Rue, what an honour it is to connect with you today, and I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me about how we can better address these issues in the future. So, the Optus outage lasted for 12 hours that we know of, that we all know of, from 4 a.m. to 4:05 p.m. and the outage affected customers nationwide in a multitude of ways and led to the loss of 65,000 postpaid mobile subscribers, which is huge, big numbers. The healthcare industry and transportation industry were also greatly impacted, and this outage affected 10 million customers and 400,000 businesses from coast to coast. This public was notified that the outage occurred as a result of a routine software update causing network miscommunications that made key routers shut down. And following this outage, former CEO Kelly Bayer Rosmarin released a vague statement to major news outlets such as ABC, 9 News, Sky News, 7 News, simply described the nature of the outage, a technical network outage. As a company, your initial response was to take to your own Twitter media account, and your Twitter post was captioned as heaps are working urgently to restore services. We will provide updates as soon as possible. We apologise sincerely to our customers. And this update was carried 3 hours after the outage occurred. And shortly after these Twitter posts, Rosmarin responded to the crisis by doing radio broadcasts to ABC and 2GB, apologising to customers nationwide and businesses that were affected by the outage, sheer in numbers. During these calls to the news outlets, Rosmarin apologised for the outage and assured the public that Optus would share information as soon as it became readily available to the public. The Optus app and in-store bulletins released, "We're very sorry for the outage," and this received much backlash from key stakeholders, you could say, coining the Optus as Floptus, drop us out of it, dropped us. Optus followed sound critical management by making a direct apology and publicly being transparent about the unknown nature of the outage. Again, you demonstrated sound crisis management by withholding statements until accurate, timely, and appropriate information could be shared, which is perfect and what you want to do in this situation. Just moving along from there, Optus also applied a critical understanding of crisis management principles by focusing communication and creating a virtual newsroom on your webpage. So you directed customers to go to your website, you directed them to get in touch with you, call the hotline, call your website, and email, which was really great because it made customers have up-to-date information, reliable information. As a crisis management expert, I would have employed Steve Hather's initial response framework to acknowledge the issue. First is acknowledging it, empathizing with it, providing a follow-up, and that is particularly important, the follow-up, because that's really the last step that a customer has to deal with a company, and it kind of leaves the taste in their mouth at the end of everything. So I would also say a lack of urgency is really what let the team down. I would say lack of empathy, lack of urgency. So customers were in the dark for quite a very long time, which is not ideal when you're running such a important infrastructure, I would say. Luke Holland, Think HQ, Head of Strategic Communications, explained Optus didn't just fail to control the narrative, yet they ignored it completely. And former CEO was also criticised for lacking empathy during her press conferences and interviews, and was asked in the interview, "Are you sorry?" To which she replied, "I've been apologising all morning." This short-tempered answer severely undermined Optus' ethos, and her comment came across as dismissive and fatigued, suggesting that customers' frustration over the lack of essential services was more of a burden than a legitimate concern. And a similar event happened in 2016 with a competitor in the telco industry, Telstra. And this outage, Telstra took it in their stride, and they responded to the crisis in a way that adhered to the ethics of an apology and followed appropriate crisis communication strategies. They were transparent, apologetic, and focused on reconciliation with their key stakeholders. Now, crisis management is crucial, and the ability to follow up is essential to ensure that businesses survive. So let's talk about the ability to rebuild Optus, rebuild trust in current and future subscribers, and secure your reputation in the telecommunications industry. My recommendation as a step is to take responsibility. Take responsibility first and foremost, and do that urgently, because that is what does leave the taste in your consumer's mouth, customer's mouth. That's what they will remember. I would also say, according to Grunig and Hunt, maintaining transparent two-way symmetrical, establishing crisis management. This framework, together with Heather's framework, I believe would have diluted the crisis and would have enabled Optus to build trust and confidence in the customers quite sooner. So thank you for listening and have a lovely afternoon. Thank you. See ya.